South Korea has more cafes per capita than anywhere else in the world. From Gangnam's minimalist espresso bars to Jeju's art cafes, coffee has become a way of life. But beyond caffeine, cafes in Korea are creative spaces where people work, socialize, and perform identity.
In South Korea, cafes are much more than a one-stop shop for a hot or cold beverage. Rather, they act as safe havens for students needing a study space, tourists needing internet, and friends needing a rest. In this video, we argue that Korean coffee culture transforms global consumer trends into a uniquely Korean form of aesthetic labor, reflecting creativity, social identity, and neoliberal modernity. Coffee first entered Korea in the early 1900s, symbolizing Western sophistication and elite modernity. The first cafe, run by the German woman Antoinette Sonntag in 1902, served as a gathering space for writers and political thinkers. Therefore, coffee consumption in Korean society is not simply an act of passive acceptance of foreign culture, but a way to actively achieve global modernity. Through the mid-20th century, dabangs, which are Korean-style tea houses, became hubs of creativity and quiet resistance during authoritarian rule. By the 1970s and 80s, instant coffee from vending machines fueled the industrial workforce, turning caffeine into a symbol of productivity and discipline. When Starbucks arrived in the late 1990s, coffee culture transformed once again, linking self-expression and work. The arrival of Starbucks in the 1990s redefined coffee as lifestyle and status. It signaled a shift from utility to identity. Starbucks espresso is convenient for producing and representing the identities of middle-class Koreans. Drinking coffee was no longer just consumption. It was aesthetic self-performance, part of the global language of neoliberal modernity.
Coffee consumption becomes a key site of national anxiety about foreign cultural incursion and consumer-based femininity. The so-called soybean pass girl, a woman mocked for spending her paycheck on lattes and handbags, was not simply vain. She was performing aesthetic labor, constructing femininity, class, and modern identity through taste and consumption. Starbucks represented access to a more open and independent notion of Korean femininity, challenging a concept of gender as defined by the codes of Confucian patriarchy. For many women, drinking coffee in Starbucks was a way to experience modernity and a sense of freedom in a society still dominated by patriarchal expectations. Yet, the same act of consumption was turned against them. The soybean pass girl became the target of national mockery, accused of shallow materialism and moral decline. This reflects neoliberal modernity, where social worth depends on how one curates oneself through lifestyle.
Cafe culture is a social performance. Spending time at a luxury cafe is an affordable way to presenting wealth and prestige. Under neoliberal capitalism, visibility itself becomes work. The carefully staged coffee photo, the right aesthetic angle, all are aspects of self-branding. Consumers become unpaid workers of their own image, producing emotional and aesthetic value through everyday consumption. Cafes are sites of spatial and sensory labor. They are not merely purveyors of coffee, but offer a third space for relaxation and experiences for people. Every design choice, for example the lighting, aroma, and playlist, invites emotional engagement. This aesthetic production blurs work and leisure. Baristas and consumers co-create mood, feeling, and experience. In neoliberal culture, even atmosphere is labor.
The cafe is not just a local aesthetic space. Across cities and cultures, its atmosphere takes on new meanings. From Seoul to Shanghai, the cafe becomes part of a regional network of feeling, a stage for identity, taste, and creativity. Across East Asia, cafes reflect broader trends in emotional and aesthetic economies. Yan and Felicia found in Shanghai that there was a highly significant relationship between all the qualities of dinescape dimensions and servicescape dimensions. Like China's themed cafes, like cat, flower, or anime cafes, Korea's coffee houses also offer immersive experiences. But what makes Korea's scene unique is how these spaces feel personal. Each cafe shows the owner's vision and becomes a space for self-expression. Customers also take part through photos, review, and sharing online. Yet, behind these beautifully designed spaces lie the people who create them. The cafe is not only a site of experience but also of enterprise. Curran, Istad, and Chesnut observe that owners try to stand out through distinctive space and menu, yet fit in by appealing to Korean taste. And this paradox, innovation within conformity, illustrates the pressures of neoliberal modernity. constant self-differentiation, yet social belonging. Their creativity is labor, a daily negotiation between art and survival.
The Korean cafe culture also transforms global consumer forms into local art. The Insadong Starbucks symbolizes the Koreanization of global brand, merging traditional design with cosmopolitan aesthetics. The Korean entrepreneurs don't just copy Western models, they reinterpret them through tradition, minimalism, and social warmth. The result is a creative fusion, a global style reimagined through Korean sensibility. From consumers to cafe owners, everyone participates in aesthetic labor. In Korea's neoliberal economy, self-expression and consumption have become moralized forms of productivity. But this aesthetic labor is also shaped by social media's logic. Commercial gentrification in contemporary cities is fed by the Instagrammable nature of a growing number and variety of consumption spaces. And that millennials visit cafes for the gram, seeking clickable aesthetics more than coffee. These Instagrammable coffee bars exemplify neoliberal modernity. They turn creativity and visibility into economic and social capital. Work looks like leisure, leisure becomes labor, and authenticity itself becomes the product. Korean cafe culture, then, is a mirror of its society, one that values creativity as labor, identity as capital, and beauty as productivity. From dabangs to today's influencer cafes, coffee in Korea tells a story of transformation. It is where global consumer culture becomes uniquely Korean aesthetic labor, reflecting creativity, social identity, and neoliberal modernity.
So we hope you enjoyed our video.
And you learned something new today. I hope you enjoy the coffee culture as much as we do.
Cheers! Cheers!